Yep.
It's Bourbon Blog Live on our Saturday cigar night here, as always, with Matty Rock
Everything's
and
better now. I just can't hear
Toro
Tom, so I'm
joining
gonna
us as
log off
well.
and come back in.
And a special guest tonight is Juan Martinez, the president of Joya de Nicaragua. I'm smoking the Numero Uno right now. Joining us live from Esteli, Nicaragua. How are you gentlemen doing?
What's up, my brother?
Good. Hey, Peter, good to see you, man. Tom, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure, Peter. Great to have you back. And Juan, we've been fans of Joya de Nicaragua for quite a while, and it's great to finally have you. And your daughter there, what's your daughter's name?
She's my business advisor. Her name is Joya,
Nice.
and she's always on top of things. She's supervising that you guys are behaving tonight. Hello.
Very nice to have her as well. Great stuff. Well, hey, we'll jump right in here. Matty and Pete, it was actually about a year ago I was hanging out with you guys in Vegas, and almost to the day, as Pete and I were just saying. And it's great that we can all hang out here. And if you're watching this, it's bourbonblog.com live. Make sure you share this. Where do we want to start? What's been happening at Joya de Nicaragua during the last few months, during this crazy time in our world?
Oh, it's a great question, and I think it's a challenging way of seeing things right now, because of course, as everybody in the world has been going through this transformation, this life-changing process, not only in terms of personal life, professional life, but also community and work life. One of the things that we are very proud of as Joya de Nicaragua, that, by the way, Joya de Nicaragua is the oldest cigar factory from Nicaragua. And
wow.
we were established in 1968. So we're talking about more than half a century of history, of challenges and obstacles that have been overcome. And one of the things that we as Nicaraguans and at Joya de Nicaragua are very proud of are the lessons that life has given us. You've been to Vegas. I don't know if you've ever been to Nicaragua, but I know Matty and Pete have. And one of the things that Nicaragua has is a very strong character. Nicaraguans have a very strong character that has basically resulted from decades and decades of lessons of resistance, of resilience. And that has forged in us Nicaraguans a character of resisting all of the challenges that life has put in front of us. And we've seen this opportunity of 2020 as one of those transformational moments. The past few years have taught us Nicaraguans to how to face uncertainty, how to face violence, how to face conflict. And now that we see ourselves in the privileged position of standing by and looking, at the whole world transform to a new reality, for us, it's been a great opportunity as individuals, as Nicaraguans, and a little bit of hopeful, also very hopeful, because we think that after this few months of isolation, but also of a lot of introspection for everybody, we're gonna come out to the other side as better persons, as better individuals, as better families, as better communities, and as better businesses too. So we're very hopeful that this has been a very important growing process for humanity right now. And we're taking all of the opportunities to try to figure that out, and how do we take advantage of this situation the most that we can. So as Joya de Nicaragua, we've been, firstly, of course, taking care of our people, making sure that everybody is safe and healthy. We've been implementing all of the safety and security measures to make sure that all of our workers are taken care of and their families are safe and secure. Remember, cigar making is a handcraft, meaning that all of our activities involve people. In some cases, hundreds of people, and in some cases, thousands of people that we need to take care of. So we need to be aware that the health, the security, both physical but also mental, of our people is a priority. So the past 3 months have been focused on that, guaranteeing that people are safe while at the same time working. Unlike you guys, that you were basically isolated and there were lockdowns, we haven't had any lockdowns, so all of the measures have had to be voluntary. All of our business practices had to change and adapted to the new reality with the limits that we have. So except for a couple of weeks that we voluntarily shut down to minimize the risk for the people, we've been working uninterruptedly. We've been blessed also that the world has been shut down and people have had more time at home, more time to spend by themselves, but also connecting with their communities virtually. They've also had the opportunity to smoke a little bit more. So we found that a lot of people have had more time to smoke cigars.
Right.
So we knock on wood because unlike many other industries, we've been blessed that people have had the opportunity to continue enjoying their passion, their love for cigars. And we haven't been as affected as other industries, at least in the case of Nicaragua. When you think about tourism, when you think about retail and all of these industries that have been basically interrupted for a few months, in our case, we've continued to enjoy the benefit of people's trust and people's interest in smoking cigars.
That's so important. And you said something really interesting. Well, you said many important things there, but you said something really interesting that I didn't know. So in Nicaragua, everything that happened as far as people isolating or whatever it might be was all voluntary. There was no kind of shutdown. Everything just kept going.
Yes. Well, we continue to do so because for us, it began a little bit later. Latin America has been following the United States in a couple of weeks. In the case of Nicaragua, we are in the process of going up the curve. We haven't reached our peak. And our government's policy has been quite different from the rest of the world. And they have not shut down. They have not imposed any limits in mobilization, in activity. So schools haven't been shut down or anything. Although we continue to have the pandemic, the measures have had to be voluntary. So people have had themselves to decide how to deal with this. So our companies have had to take the measures on their own hand. Unfortunately, which makes the situation even worse. Because one thing is, at least having a leadership of a government or a state that tells you for good or bad how to act and when to act. In our case, we're basically following suit on everybody else's experience and basically testing the waters to see what is the proper moment to go out, the proper moment to come back to normal. So It's a challenge. It's another challenge that we have, but thank God the experience of other countries and the global experience in the region have taught us how to react and how to behave.
Yes, I appreciate the insight. We hope everyone in Nicaragua will continue to do well and stay well. And just great to have you, Juan Martinez, again, the president of Joya de Nicaragua Cigars. If anybody has any questions for Juan or for Pete or for Matty, ask below. And as we always say, please like this, share this, let everybody know down below that you're watching this and what you're smoking and drinking. I think we should just start out just by saying what we're all smoking. And Juan, I am trying one of your delicious Numero Unos. Such an incredible cigar. For those that don't know about the Numero Uno, this is a really special cigar, isn't it?
It is. It is. As a factory, so we are a Nicaraguan factory. We're 100% Nicaraguans, and we specialize in working with Nicaraguan tobacco. So one of the things that we do have very intrinsic to ourselves, and Matty and Pete know this very well, is that we're very proud of our Nicaraguan origins. And when we say that we are the oldest cigar factory from Nicaragua, that also take us to one of the first factory to have used Nicaraguan tobacco. That, by the way, Nicaraguan tobacco today is considered the best tobacco in the world. And Nicaraguan-made cigars are considered the best cigars in the world. So as a factory, we've been proud to having had the opportunity to work first. So we specialize in working with Nicaraguan tobacco. However, we do have cigars for different palates. We try to cater for almost every smoker out there and for every market. So every profile, every cigar that we have has been specially designed to capture the smoking experience in a very particular way. So in the case of Numero Uno, this is part of our Obras Maestras families, which is translates to masterpieces. And this is the one that we're smoking tonight.
Yes.
And this is a cigar that actually has quite an interesting origin, and it showcases the way destiny forces us to take a particular path. Um, as we are the oldest cigar factory in Nicaragua, we've constantly been asked by the Nicaraguan government, by the Nicaraguan Foreign Ministry, for gifts. So for 15 years, for the past 15 years, this guy comes and say, we have a trip to Italy, or we have a trip to China, and we want to bring our hosts a gift. So they take a coffee bag, they take rum, flor de caña, they take chocolate, and they take cigars. And they would ask us, and we would gladly give them a box of cigars. Sometimes it would be a big box, sometimes it would be a small box of cigars. But the challenge was always knowing who the final smoker is. You as a smoker, everybody here as a cigar smoker knows that the biggest challenge is to know what the other person wants. There's so much diversity in everybody's palate that it's very hard to gift someone a cigar because you don't know if that smoker is a full-bodied smoker or a mild smoker or a medium-bodied smoker, or he likes light wrappers, or he likes Maduro wrappers, or whatever. So it's always a challenge. So we decided a few years ago, about 6 or 7 years ago, to specially design a blend for, we would call them the most important customers, presidents, dignitaries from around the world. So we designed this blend. We went and we said, we want a blend that it was enjoyable both by experts, but also by people who would have the most discerning palate. So
everybody will enjoy.
Everybody would enjoy, especially because it was a gift, and it was supposed to be a very special gift. So we decided to blend this cigar, and we would gift it. This was a gift exclusive that we would only give to Nicaraguan as a Nicaraguan present. Nobody had access to this. Fast forward a couple of years, and we have Drew Estate on 2018, which was our 50th anniversary, and they reached out to us as our distributor in the United States. They asked us, could you guys have a very special cigar for events, a event exclusive cigar? So in the cigar industry, it's very common. If you go to a cigar shop and a brand holds an event, you will probably get something that you cannot buy as a gift. If you buy 5 cigars from Joya de Nicaragua, you probably get a cigar that you cannot get. It's a special cigar event only. So we decided let's try this. Let's get it on people's hands to see how they like it. They cannot buy it, so we sent it. We did almost 800 events in 2018 with this cigar all over the United States, in every territory, in a lot of 800 accounts, 800 stores. And in Texas, the cigars got to the hands of one of the industry's most important blogs, which is called halfwheel.com. And they do reviews of cigars, similar to your site. It's on the cigar industry.
Yeah.
So we get that, and they smoke it, and they enjoy it so much that they eventually give it the cigar of the year for 2018. Amongst all of the cigars that they tested, they get it the #1 cigar of the year.
Yes.
So this is 2018. It was both a blessing and a curse because it's fantastic to get the #1, but on a cigar that you sell, and this cigar was not for sale because it was an event exclusive cigar. So we went out, we rushed packaging, and we decided to launch it as a official brand. And this is what we have, Numero Uno. So this is a mild to medium blend. It has a Connecticut shade wrapper and a Nicaraguan binders and Nicaraguan fillers. And what you have is, although it's not a strong full-bodied smoke, it contains a lot of flavor. It's smooth, it's creamy. You have the contrast of the white peppers with the earthy notes of the Nicaraguan tobacco that are very characteristic of the Nicaraguan tobacco. So it's quite an elegant smoke, and I think that the shape and the size, which is actually the size is called a Numero Uno, 6, 7, 8 by 44. This is quite an elegant smoke, quite a classic and elegant smoke. So this is the story of Numero Uno.
It's an incredible smoke, and many people. We have a lot of guests, Juan, who are big fans and friends of ours joining us. Chris is saying Numero Uno is box worthy. So a lot of people really enjoy it. It is incredible. It's a beautifully smooth flavor, and the draw is just the draw is just so flawless. I mean, it's just so beautiful, isn't it?
It is. It is. And it's this is one of those cigars that a lot of people wouldn't gravitate to, especially if you're a full-bodied smoker.
Yep.
I know that Matty and Pete tend to be full-bodied folks, and they enjoy more body. In this case, this is a cigar that's quite enjoyable if you are a full-bodied smoker or a mild cigar smoker. So
Right.
that's a friendly cigar. We are actually introducing, as we speak, around the country a new size for this. This size is called Ambassador or the Ambassador, precisely because of its diplomatic origins. But we are introducing right now another size. It's called Le Premier, which is a Churchill size. That's
Okay.
6.75 by 48, which is a little bit larger in ring gauge. It's also quite a pleasing smoking experience.
So the Churchill it will be out sometime soon, or it's already out.
Yes, it's coming out in the next few weeks.
The next
So
few
right
weeks,
now
we'll
we're
be
holding
seeing a Churchill of the Numero Uno. And how did you? I mean, because you do have the Connecticut wrapper, there is kind of this blend between both creamy, mild, and also complex. How did you all create something that you knew everyone would enjoy from the beginner to complex? How did you do this?
Well, the blending process, it's one of the key stages in the cigar making, and one of the things that thank God we have a fantastic team of very knowledgeable tobacco people, but also very talented blenders at the factory. And this is one of the things that you need to understand your tobaccos. Cigars are very interesting in many ways, and for many reasons. But one of the most interesting things is to blend. And if you ever have the opportunity to visit a factory, the opportunity to blend your own cigar is one of those great experiences. And we have to play with the components. So the cigars are generally made with different components that we call basically different tobacco leaves. Remember, cigars are made with long filler natural tobacco. This type of cigar that we are smoking right now is called the traditional or classic because it has no chemicals, no additives, but it doesn't have any flavors also. So we're only working with the natural attributes, both in flavor, aroma, complexity, strength of the tobacco leaf. And when we say long filler, it means that we're using the whole leaf the whole complete leaf of tobacco. However, in one cigar, you can have different components. You have the wrapper, which is the outside, the outside covering of the cigar. But you also have the binder, which is the leaf under that covers the fillers. And in the fillers, we have three different types: the seco, the visos, and the ligeros. Each one contributes to the different components of the smoke. One contributes to the burn and to the aroma. Another one contributes to the flavor, and the ligeros particularly add to the strength level of the cigar. So the combination of those five leaves, those five components, are what give you the blend. So you have to play with the different components depending on what you're looking for. So in this case, for example, if you want a mild but smooth, creamy, and flavorful smoke, you will probably go with a lighter wrapper, but with more intense fillers, like the Nicaraguan fillers from Esteli. This is what we have here. Generally, we have Ligero from Esteli, Visos from Condega, and perhaps a Seco from Jalapa, which are different growing regions in Nicaragua that provide you a different flavor profile, each one.
Wow. And Matty, I think Pete made it just jump off a moment. But Matty, what do you think of the Numero Uno? What do you like about the Numero Uno? Did Matty hear me?
Back there we go.
There he is.
Again. Juan was just talking about it. Yep, I hear you. You got me?
Yep, I got you.
There we go. Pete's wrecking it. Okay, so pretty much all the attributes that Juan was talking about is what makes this an extra special smoke. So you have something that by nature, most people assume when they see a Connecticut shade wrapper, you're not going to get a lot of complexity. You're not going to get a really full body of flavor on it. But this particular stick encompasses is all the things that I really enjoy. You get that creaminess, you get that little bit of pepper that's on there, and the amount of flavor that's coming off of cigar that's mild to medium in its nature is just, it's incredible. Obviously, as everybody knows, size, I'm not a huge ring gauge kind of guy. So now that you have this, I believe it's a 44, right, Juan? Right. So you have the 6 5/8 by 44. Size is perfect. The flavor compatibility to my taste are perfect. And like I said, for being what you would consider probably being a mild cigar, it's giving you a ton of flavor. And like I said, the complexity is there.
Yeah, there's so much flavor. What do you think, Pete?
Well, the only time I don't actually have any of the Numero Unos, but I did smoke them a year ago at the show when they first came out, and I did enjoy them. And I think some of the events you were giving out the classical, was it the classicals one or the precursor to these, if you will, at earlier events, and then you came up. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might be a different cigar, but
no, this is in the family, very similar to the classical. It's a different blend, but it uses the same wrapper. This is the cigar that we were actually giving out in the events. And now that you mentioned that you haven't smoked this one, I'm gonna have to solve that, my friend. It's unacceptable for me.
Great cigar.
But what I'm smoking right now, anyway, is the Hoya Silver. Since I didn't have that, I'm smoking the 6 1/2 by 46, my favorite size ring gauge, and this is box worthy. Always, I have a ton of these in my humidor, and I smoke them religiously, especially this side. It's got that medium, sweet, earthy flavor profile that has a nice finish on the palate. This is one of my go-to cigars right now.
Yeah.
Now, I will be getting my hands on some of the Numero Unos. I wish I could comment on them, but
I took yours. They've been confiscated.
That's it. But I'll take care of it. I'll promote the Hoya Silvers. These things are gold, well, silver.
And I stole your Cinco.
This guy's both Matty and
I have one of them too.
And Pete. But Matty and Pete have been part of our testing panel without they knowing. Every year we have the opportunity to share with them some of the projects that we're working on, and their feedback is always greatly appreciated. These guys have been great friends to Joya de Nicaragua and to myself. That we love themselves, but also we love their palate too. They're different, completely different, as you know. Pete and Matty are they're yin and yang to each other in many ways, in a very positive way.
Yes, sir.
So even listening to their comments when they smoke our cigars it's a fantastic contrast that's very fulfilling. So thank you guys for being part of the process.
Thank you for allowing us.
You guys know your family, and I think something one that would be great to talk about, bring up with Tom too, is tell him about Puro Sabor, because people who really want to learn not just about the tobaccos and everything of Nicaragua, but also the culture and everything else they have to offer. Juan, before he starts, was also the pretty much the Grand Master of one of the ceremonies. Was it 2 years ago, Juan? It's the main sponsor, the Grand Master.
I think that was 3 years ago, Matty. The picture that we posted, that was actually
3 years ago. But
it was 3 years ago. What if Juan had Matty and I down there for most of the Puro Sabor, and it was such an experience to go through all the processes in the factories, and it was and the culture and everything throughout Nicaragua. It was amazing. It's like Matty and I always say too. It's our second home down there. We're missing it.
Juan, you want to give them the background on the Puro Sabor one? And
well, the Puro Sabor is just a reflection or one of the events that we have that sort of transmits the most important values that we have as an industry, at least here in Nicaragua. And I don't know if this is very common in other industries, but one of the things that the cigar industry does have is that community, a sense of community, sense of connections, sense of brotherhood and sisterhood that's very, very strong. So here in Nicaragua, and by the way, and this is very important for people to know, as I said before, Nicaragua is considered the best cigar country in the world. So 6 out of 10 cigars that every year are named the best cigars in the world are made in Nicaragua, especially in our town of Esteli. In the town of Esteli, you have the best cigar makers in the world. You have the best tobacco in the world. And that's not only saying it because I'm Nicaraguan and I'm part of that, but mostly because it's true. And, you know, you have specialized media from, you know, Cigar Aficionado, Cigar Journal, Cigar Snog, Halffield, saying it constantly. But the question is, why is that? And that takes me to the sense of community. Is a sense of belonging together, responsibility for the industry, responsibility to our people, responsibility to our land, responsibility to our city, and responsibility to our country. That unites us all together. And the only reason why Nicaragua is on top is precisely because you have so much diversity of members who are constantly working, striving to be the best. But in that process, they do work together very closely. We work very closely with our biggest competitors. For example, our factory, which is the oldest one, and I say it again with pride, the oldest one, we are sort of medium-sized. We have 320 employees. So we're not the biggest, we're not the smallest, we're more in the medium size. However, the biggest company in Esteli, the biggest factory in Esteli, it's Drew Estate. They have more than 2,500 people working under the roof. You would expect this to be a very strong competition. However, they are our distributor. They are our partner in the United States. Then you have other people like Plasencias, for example. Plasencia, they have their own brand, they have their own factory, but they also have some of the best tobacco growing in Nicaragua. We buy tobacco from them and we collaborate in raw materials, for example. We work together with AJ Fernandez, another big factory. We work together with Oliva. We work together with our greatest competition. And that sense of community that we say with pride also allows us to share the values that in Nicaragua we have. And Puro Sabor, and I try to land your question to this, Puro Sabor is the essence of that. It's an experience to bring people to enjoy not only cigar culture, a cigar heritage, cigar tradition, but also Nicaragua. So it's a cigar festival that's held every year in January, on the third week of January. And it's a festival in which we all participate together. All of the main cigar makers, all of the main tobacco growers and material makers from Nicaragua, we come together and we bring people from all over the world. The last time we did it was this January, 2020. Wow. We had people from around 70 countries coming down to Nicaragua and spending 3.5 days visiting factories, learning about cigar making, meeting the cigar makers, doing tastings and pairings, and enjoying Nicaraguan culture, enjoying Nicaraguan heritage, enjoying Nicaraguan food, and of course, enjoying Nicaraguan cigars. So this is Puro Sabor, the Nicaraguan Cigar Festival, and it's quite an exclusive opportunity to enjoy cigar culture to the fullest, without restrictions and without limits.
Excellent. The name of the festival is what again?
Puro Sabor, which is pure flavor. Puro Sabor, the Nicaraguan Cigar Festival. You just Google it as the Nicaraguan Cigar Festival, and you'll get the reference to the festival. We have videos and pictures, and it's quite a fun time because ultimately cigar smoking is about enjoyment. So it's a great time.
Yeah,
it's on Matty and my bucket list again. There, Juan. It was such a fantastic experience, and Chris Dookie can attest to that too, and Richard Lai, and all of us that were down there that one year. It was just amazing.
Sounds incredible. Indeed. And I see, and everybody, tell us down below again what you're smoking. We have so many great fans of Joya de Nicaragua that are watching. It looks like Mateo is in regards to the UK. He is enjoying an Antano CT right now. Thanks for watching, Antano. And our friends from Cigar Federation are also watching. Dennis, thank you for watching. Juan is ambassador of Nicaraguan tobacco, encompassing the culture, the people, and the country, which puts their heart into it every day. So many great thanks to Cigar Federation for watching tonight. So many great people watching. Tell us where you're watching from and what you're smoking and drinking below. What are you having to drink there, Juan? I say you're pouring a little scotch.
This goes against my shout out to Mateo, who just posted a comment. So Mateo is a great friend. He's actually a Flor de Caña rum ambassador in the UK, and he's one of the best. He was one of the best rum specialists that I know. He's a great guy. He's based in Scotland. So Mateo, thank you for joining us. I'm actually having tonight a Glenfiddich single malt 12-year to have with my Numero Uno. So
I bet that's a good.
Unfortunately, I would like to have my bourbon, my Angel's Envy, but given that we are in lockdown since April, there is no access to bourbon locally. There's not a lot of culture for drinking bourbon in Nicaragua. Wow. So there are no local stores that actually sell it. So I only get it when I travel. And I haven't traveled for a while, so I run out of my bourbons. Just to give you a perspective, guys, for the past 12 years,
you wouldn't mind a package showing up with bourbon.
Yes, I think that might have to happen soon.
If you can get it down here, I love it, man.
We'll help you out with some bourbon. We would be more than happy to, and of course we always enjoy a good scotch. And Mateo, I do love. He's a Florida. I love Flor de Caña, and I don't have any in my bar at the moment. I do have some plantation, but I'm also a fan of Flor de Caña, so I'm having a little plantation rum with the Numero Uno, and hopefully when we get to Scotland, we can have a good cigar and drink with you there, Mateo. What else is there? Matty, what are you drinking? And Pete, what are you drinking?
Good, Matt.
You know me. Mine is the non-adult beverage. So today we have another oldie Manhattan Special. Again, that was a brand that we brought up before that's been making handcrafted sodas for over 100 years, 120 years. So today I went for the cream soda. So the natural sweetness, it's made with pure cane sugar. So no corn syrup or that other goop in there. So the sweetness on the crafted cream soda goes perfectly with the Numero Uno.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We went cream for cream, guys.
He has a few things he's having, right? What are you having, Pete?
Well, what I poured here is a little peerless rye. Thank you.
Very nice.
Special. I sip it just a little bit at a time. It's so good.
It is so.
I did get my hands on a little Weller Special Reserve weeded bourbon, so that's in my arsenal for tonight. And to finish up later tonight, a little Whistle Pig 10-year rye.
That's a single barrel Whistle Pig too.
It's a single barrel 10-year rye. Yeah, it's a wonderful little contrast between the weeded bourbon and the ryes. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. And then my next pour here, as we go to the next cigar, will be. I have some Peerless bourbon, so I'll join you in that, Pete. And I also have some Town Branch, some Jeffersons, a few other things behind me. But definitely tell us down below. I see people attack our friends. Our friends from Attack are saying showing off. Yeah, we all like to tell us down below what you all are drinking. Michael, David, great to have you. Tom Greener, everybody who's commenting. It is great time. People are loving the passion that Juan and Pete and Matty have for the cigars. I would imagine it is the passion that has kept Joya de Nicaragua going all these years, and being the oldest cigar manufacturer. What's that like? I mean, that's a real claim that you all have going for so long, right?
Oh yes, and I think it's a combination of sources of passion. I have to say, and I have to mention 4 of them. 2 of them together are an inspiration from 2 individuals who not only draw me into the industry, but also constantly and every day demonstrate with actions, not only with words, what passion really, really means. One of them is my father, Dr. Cuenca, and the other one is Jonathan Drew. Both are very visionaries in my own way, in their own ways, that have changed and have led the way for their own companies, but have joined together to develop a great relationship, and that changed at least my life in the way They transmit the message, their vision, their ethos, their life purpose. And I have to say that the passion that they share with the world is one of the things that drives me too. The second passion that I have to mention, or the third one I have to say, has to do with the people. The people are people that are responsible on basically crafting this product with their own hands and with their own hearts and with their own dedication and compromise. As I said before, cigar making is about people. It's a product that's made by people for people. So when you go to a cigar factory like ours, for example, and Matty and Pete can testify to that, the passion and the commitment, almost devotion like of people to the craft is impressive. And we're not talking yet about the people who sell and the people who smoke the cigars. I'm just talking about the people who make it. We have a lady in our factory. Her name is Panchita. She's been with us since 1968 for 50 years. She actually began working with us when she was 15 years old. She's the
Wow.
head of quality control at Joya de Nicaragua today. And she knows by heart and by mind, with a photographic memory, every single product that the factory has crafted, has made, and has sold to more than 63 countries around the world. And she recites that, and she recites the history, and she recites how things by heart. So when you meet people like this, it really draws you in, and it challenges your own, your own personal assumptions. This is people that have dedicated their life to one single product, to one single company, and you start to respect that and appreciate that. So that's the third passion. And the fourth passion, and one of the most important too, is the passion with those two guys down here and everybody that enjoys cigars.
Yes.
When you come and meet people like Pete and Matty, whom I would never have met if it wasn't because of this and because of Jonathan and Drew Estate. But when you also meet hundreds and hundreds of cigar smokers whose passion, whose love for cigars transcends the product itself, and it shares to the people. It shows beyond the brand, but also the commitment to the country. I'm here because Matty invited me, and I'm very appreciative of that. But if it wasn't because of his love to us, to our products, and to every other cigar maker that he's very good friends with, we wouldn't be here. So the passion of those guys, or the passion of the men and women who enjoy their cigars and trust us with their hard-earned money buying our cigars, is ultimately what pushes and what drives us every day in this industry. And I have to say, that's not only us. Every cigar maker feels obligated. It feels responsible, to give the face and to be in front of the people who ultimately appreciate and enjoy our products. And I have to say, and I've been doing a little bit of research on this. There's no other industry that can be like this. That you mentioned all of those bourbons. I don't know if any of you know the owners or the managers or the heads of all of those bourbons that you have there. But I know that Pete and Matty know the principal owners of all of the best cigar makers in the world, and they know them as friends, not as clients, not a customer, as friends. And that passion it's astounding. It's astounding. Let me tell you an anecdote. When all of this began, and I've told this story before, when all of this began, we asked ourselves, how are we going to react? Our life depends on being on the road, on sharing cigars, smoking cigars, doing events, being at the lounges, and they're shut down. What are we going to do? So we sat down and we adapted. We evolved, and this has become our new medium. Virtual lounges, virtual smoking sessions, virtual tastings, and all of this. And I've done close to 45 different cigar tastings virtually over the past 2 months with everybody around the world. And one of the things that I noticed is that the rest of the industry the rest of the industries, being wine, let's talk about scotch, let's talk about spirits, let's talk about any other product similar to ours, wasn't doing that. In our industry, everybody went out to keep connecting and keep engaged, not only with cigar shops, but also with consumers, and most importantly, with consumers. Today, I have the ability to connect and do a private tasting with cigar smokers from Angola, or from Hong Kong, or from Australia, and I can do it from the comfort of my own home. And get to achieve that. It's not every industry that gets that. So we are very blessed to be in an industry that is driven by passion. It's driven by love to the leaf, love to the cigar, but most importantly, love to the people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So well said.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good lead-in for those, Tom, that have not heard your story. I think that's a perfect lead-in. So, take it away. You have over 15 years of experience with spirits, bourbons, and you're an educator. So, fill in those who have not yet heard your story and what you've done.
Well, I appreciate that, Matty. Thank you so much, and it's great. This really has been an incredible experience. Matty and I have been doing this every Saturday for a while now, and we've started right away telling the people that watch bourbonblog.com the stories of cigars and whiskeys almost every night for about 3 months. But I'm a whiskey journalist and educator. If you haven't watched this before, I host whiskey tastings around the country, around the world. That's how I met Pete and Matty. And I do cigar pairings as well. And I'm actually doing a lot of those virtually now. Of course, we're doing this virtual show almost every night on bourbonblog.com, but I'm also coming in and doing private tasting. So if your business company, your friends, you're wanting a virtual tasting hosted, I can host one for you. I can help you get the alcohol. Drop me a line at tom@bourbonblog.com. We'll host a tasting. We can even have cigars with it. We can have rum. We can have whiskey. But do drop me a line. Even if you just want to talk whiskey, drop me a line, because I would love to hear from you and continue to help you enjoy your whiskey at home. And I think there's new ways that we're all finding to enjoy our cigars and our whiskeys at home. I think there's ways that we've also learned in person. There's a way we do virtual tastings, but there's almost, we can go a step forward with a virtual tasting and potentially on some levels with the conversation, because we are so focused. Maybe we're learning even more. I mean, have there been things that you all have learned, Juan and Matty and Pete, when you've been doing these tastings virtually that maybe you didn't experience in person?
Well, we're usually so used to having events where everybody's sitting in front of you. So it's actually quite interesting, even though we're all far apart, that we have the ability to all come together. So if you were just at a regular show and everybody's in one spot, now you have the ability for everybody all over the globe kind of to weigh in, talk about not just what they're smoking. That's the camaraderie part of this, is what's going on culturally, where they're from, what their areas are doing, what they're experiencing. So again, much like, fine wines, spirits, and bourbons, same thing with cigars. That camaraderie is there. You sit, you talk about what's going on in your life, in your part of the world, how things are affecting you. And, you get to sit down, talk over one of your favorite passions with people from all over the world. So it's new. Of course, nothing beats being, in a room or in a large event full of your friends. But this is giving you really the opportunity to go out there and speak kind of on a global platform to who you are.
Yeah. Good one.
I agree.
Yeah.
We lost Matty. I agree. There is no replacement to human contact, to human warmth, to a hug and a handshake, and even to the smell, to the actual experience of going into a shop or a lounge or a space where people are enjoying cigars. There's no replacement to that. But given that we have to work with what we have, I think virtual tasting have given us, have opened up a new ways to connect and have attracted also a lot of people who in many ways have felt intimidated to go into a shop and didn't have necessarily the opportunity to enjoy or meet people. The majority of people live far away from the places where you would usually hold an event. So they usually don't have the opportunity to enjoy a tasting. We're talking about people not only from all over the world, but from all over the country in the United States, from the most remote areas. Now they have access to an experience that they usually wouldn't have. If you would have asked us in January if it was possible to hold a virtual tasting, we would probably say, yeah, it's going to be difficult, man.
It's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard. It's hard to get people on the same time zone and everything. So let's not do it. Let's travel and do that. Now we're at least temporarily, while we find our new way of doing things, we can do that. We can achieve it. And I think, although again, it doesn't replace the experience of human touch. Let's say, last month I would have been with Pete and Matty in Cigar Fest with 60,000 smokers. 6,000 cigar smokers for 3 days in the Poconos. That didn't happen this year. And this is the first time, I don't know how many years, but this is the first time in 10 years that I'm not there on May. And this is the first time, actually, I've been in the industry for about 12 years. I started working in the factory in the company in 2008. And for the past 12 years, 10 years, I would say, I've been traveling on average for at least once every month, and in some cases for at least a week every month, every year, except when my daughters were born that I had to take a few weeks off. But we're talking about a lot of traveling.
Right.
This has been the longest that I've been without traveling since I began. The last trip that I took was in February, late February, for the big smoke in Miami. That was the last one. However, I've been able to connect, to do events, to do engagement with many people than we would have done it if I was physically traveling to one place and then to another place. So it's fun in a way, and it challenges all of the assumptions that we had before, that we have to be physically present in the store or in the lounge to be able to do this. Now it forces us to change and adapt, and in a very traditional classic industry like ours, where the assumptions are very strong, it's good that we challenge them once in a while. Yeah. So I miss seeing my friends, and this year we're not doing any trade shows, so this is the only moment in which we get to see a lot of our friends and colleagues, and and spend some time socializing. That we do miss a lot, but with what we have, it's a great opportunity to explore new ways of doing things.
It is. And again, it's Juan Martinez, president of Joya de Nicaragua Cigars, joining us live from Esteli. Also, Pete Totaro joining us from New Jersey, and Ambassador Matty's going to come back. I think we were having a little technical difficulties there, but lots of people enjoying a Joya de Nicaragua cigar from all across the country. Cheers from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Great show. Big fan of Joya cigars. Hi, Pete and Matty. He's enjoying a Joya Black. He's actually drinking some of your Angel's
Envy. I envy you, man. I envy you, Vince. Enjoy your Joya Black, my friend.
And a question from Dennis from Cigar Federation. Juan, personally, I've become a huge fan of your smaller form factory releases, especially the Antano 1970. Your blends of tobacco lend themselves very well to smaller sizes and still deliver an awesome smoking experience without compromising flavor. Are there any plans or considerations to put out some more of the petite ones or the blended ones to cater to smokers who enjoy a shorter smoke?
Well, that's actually quite a fantastic question. Thank you, my friend, for asking that. And I'm in your team of enjoying more smaller ring gauge cigars, not necessarily shorter, but smaller ring gauge cigars. And I think one of the successes of this particular blend has been its Vitola size. It's 44 ring gauge. And interestingly, we had to a few new sizes for this brand. One is La Taché, which is a small Corona, and the other one is the Le Premier that I already mentioned. And this is a blend that doesn't blend well with big ring gauges. So for this particular brand, which is Numero Uno, you should expect only small ring gauge from 48 below. You're not gonna get a longer, you're not gonna get a Toro, you're not gonna get a Gran Toro, and definitely you're not gonna get a 60 ring gauge, precisely because it doesn't blend well. There's the debate in our trade on what's more important, size or flavor. The bigger the cigar, the more tobacco it has to contain. So the more difficult it is for you to control the components and the interactions of the components that allow you to get the blend that you're looking for, the profile of that blend that you're looking for. But when you work with smaller ring gauge, it allows you to improve and to better tweak and move the components to get you that profile. I'm also on the smaller ring gauge because I think that you get a better interaction of the components, more balance, and more complexity too. So I think this is, you should expect always in our profile, in our portfolio, to have smaller ring gauge cigars. One of my personal favorite sizes, for example, is a half Corona in the Joya Reds. and that's a cigar that smokes beautifully both for its length and for its ring gauge.
Yes. And again, with smaller cigars, you can really play with those elements a lot more to get what you're wanting, right?
Exactly.
I find the 6x46, 6x48, that ring gauge, and no matter what cigar you produce, it gives that perfect flavor profile, the perfect ratio between all the tobaccos and how they marry together. It just, I'll take any cigar and go from a Toro to a 6x60 down to a Petite Corona, and with a 6x46, it's just, it's what I gravitate to always in any cigar brand. Period.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah,
Now
that's
you
what makes
also
the
remember
Uno
that
perfect size.
Go ahead, Matty.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, saying that's definitely what makes the Uno a perfect size. And Tom, we talked about this before too. I usually don't smoke, bigger than a 52 or a 54. So my preference is definitely these sizes. I think you get the full balance of the cigar, I believe, in the smaller ring gauges and the smaller sticks.
Yes, I'm seeing that more and more too. Yeah.
And I have to say, there's a technical reason why perhaps the flavor profile in the small ring gauges is more appreciated. The cigar is the sum of its parts. And as I mentioned before, you have 5 components to a cigar. In the smaller ring gauges, the wrapper has a bigger relevance than in bigger ring gauges, where the fillers, especially the lighter fillers like the secos and the visos, play a bigger role because you have to fill the cigar, the big tube, if you want. In this case, the wrapper has a bigger proportion as a percentage of the cigar. Hence, you get to appreciate more the flavor notes and the contributions of the wrapper that tends to be one of the most flavorful parts of the cigar. So you get the better interactions because the component, let's put it this way, they have a more proportionate role to play. There is no overpowering of one component than the other. So in the case of the small ring gauge cigars, the wrapper plays a very important role.
So important. Such a great cigar. How limited is this cigar? Where can we find this? And about how limited is the Numero Uno?
It's actually a limited ongoing release. It's not. There are 2 things that make a cigar limited: the availability of tobaccos and the rate of production. And generally, in this type of productions, we only have one pair of people making one size. So you have a limited amount. This year, we're coming out with, I think it's 600 boxes of each of the sizes. So we have 2 sizes in this. So it's in total 1,200 boxes that are going to be available of this brand. Which is based.
Gotcha. Okay, I think you went. Can you guys hear Juan still?
No.
Yep.
I think Juan is frozen. Hey, we've taken our turns. Okay, there he is. Are you here, Juan? Can you hear us?
He's muted.
There he is. He's muted. Juan, there we go.
My earplugs just ran out of battery.
Just say it once again. No rush. No rush at all.
So,
say that last part once again, please.
So we're talking about the limited. This is a limited ongoing release. So we only have about 600 boxes of each of the sizes. So it's about 1,200 boxes in total of the Numero Unos on 2 sizes.
Wow. All right. Well, let's talk. I love the Numero Uno, and definitely go look for the Numero Uno. It is something very special. It's creamy. It's smooth. I mean, there's just so many things that just make it really the perfect cigar, especially to have with a great spirit, a great cocktail. I tried it both with some bourbon, some rum. A few people were asking about my suggestions for pairings. The Peerless, I'm loving. The Plantation. I've also really been enjoying American single malt whiskeys. I know Juan's trying a Scotch single malt. I've been doing some Scotches as well, but I'm a big fan of single malt American whiskeys. I'm really been enjoying the Town Branch. If you all are in a market that can get that, it's from Lexington, Kentucky. It's about a 7-year-old single malt American whiskey. Great. Has a little of that smoky note. Has been going great with so many cigars. Let's talk about the special Antonio. Am I saying it the right way?
Antonio.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I had it the right way. Antonio. Yes, let's talk about the Antonio.
And I'm gonna talk about that, but I'm gonna ask you a Scotch question after that. So antaño in Spanish means yesteryear, and this is a cigar that was actually developed back in 2000, in the year 2000. It's actually 20-year-old. A 20-year-old brand, which is quite an accomplishment in a very competitive industry like cigars, where you have every year you have hundreds of new brands coming out to the marketplace. And this was a cigar that actually was a game changer for the industry. It was the first 100% Nicaraguan puro to use Nicaraguan tobacco to the fullest. And when I talk about fullest, I mean to the fullest potential of its flavor, of its body, and of its strength. This is a cigar that actually the fillers come from one farm, from the same farm for the past 20 years. So the same plots of land have been growing this variety of tobacco that we use on the 1970s. This was a cigar that was intended to capture what I said before, the essence of Nicaraguan tobacco, full-bodied, strong, a little bit spicy, earthy, peppery, but quite intense in its flavor. Actually, it was called Strong as Balls. And when it was first released in 2000, it was actually one of the strongest cigars out there because people were not using a lot of Nicaraguan tobacco back then. Nowadays, it's no longer one of the strongest because you've had much, much stronger cigars in the marketplace. As time has evolved, people have come out with stronger and stronger tobaccos and stronger cigars. But back then, it was a game changer. And it actually continues to be our best-selling cigar in the United States. It's a legacy brand that we call them, meaning that it's a staple, it's a favorite for many smokers around the world. So we're very happy of this. And together with the Antaño, this is the original Antaño, the one that you're smoking, but we have, in that family, we have 4 different brands. One is called the Antaño 1970, the one that you're smoking. We also have the Antaño Gran Reserva, which is the same blend, but the tobaccos have been aged for more than 5 years. Wow. It's the same profile, but a little bit smoother aged. And we also have the Antaño d'Arco Rojo, which is a 6 out of 5 in terms of strength. It's used 2 liters of ligero, super strong, super full body. And then we have Antaño Sete, which is our newest release. And this is a medium body Antaño, the same Antaño fillers with a Connecticut state wrapper. So we have quite an interesting range. And the Antaño is basically the personification of Nicaraguan tobacco. Robust, intense, flavorful, aromatic, strong, and full body.
It is really full bodied. It's very deep. It's complex. And again, the Antaño takes us back to, again, what year does this represent then?
2000.
2000. Okay, so 20 years going strong. Same farm. Really great smoke. I really like this. It's very nice.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, please.
Regarding smokiness in whiskeys, be it bourbons or be it single malts, what is your recommendation? What level of smokiness do you choose when pairing with a cigar?
When it comes to single malts?
Or yeah, single malts or any whiskey.
I'm on a call. What's up? Is it important?
Yeah. Well, what I usually look for are just flavors that are, 3 things: either accentuating, that help accentuate the flavor, and
my head hurts.
The next level.
I'm fine. I don't have COVID.
Flavors that are complementary. I think Matty may be getting a call. We'll bring him back in here in a second. Complementary that really help.
I hope he doesn't. I was just with him last night.
Oh, here he is. Here we go. We'll bring Matty back in. So, complementary flavors. Flavors.
Well, happy you don't have COVID, Matty.
Oh, dude.
Sorry, Tom. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. So accentuating helps kind of elevate those flavors, complementary flavors, and then contrasting flavors. And the contrasting we don't do quite as often, but sometimes it's something that works against each other, but in a beautiful way. But with this first one, the Numero Uno, the creaminess for me, the creaminess in the rum, which very creamy rum. Really tropical, really brought about some of those tropical flavors, creamy flavors, lighter flavors in the cigar. And usually, I just try to get, with any kind of pairing, I get on my palate the whiskey first, let the palate really be coated by the whiskey. and then go to the cigar, hold it, and then go back to the whiskey. That's what I typically do. But there's so many combinations that work well. I mean, your Scotch. I mean, I do like single malts that have just a little hint of smoke, like Glenfiddich 12 that you have there. It's not overly peaty, but it's peaty enough, I think, to be really accentuating to some of the nice earthy notes, especially in the Antonio cigar. I bet that would taste really nice with the Glenfiddich.
Not seeing a lot of questions about the cream soda. I'm a little disappointed. What am I going to do?
Well, we may have anybody. I think the cream soda could work quite well as well. Do you have?
Maybe you should have put a pork roll sandwich up there. It would have helped.
Yeah.
It's a great question, though, Juan. And I appreciate it. Do you have a favorite pairing as far as in your portfolio? Like your favorite thing to have is a rum plus this cigar. Do you have a favorite one that you like to kind of lay out there on the table when you're doing a tasting?
I have three pairings that I always gravitate towards. One is my daily pairing, which would be a cigar with coffee, and particularly Nicaraguan coffee. Those, I think the profile of Nicaraguan coffee, which tends to be very rich and intense, tastes very well. And there is a particular brand of coffee that's called Twin Engine Coffee by a couple of American people down here in Nicaragua, that they actually have a cigar blend. That's basically the level of variety of coffee that has been chosen especially for smoking cigars. That's a fantastic pairing for me. Then there's one interesting pairing. It goes back to Joya Black, and Joya Black pairs beautifully with a stout craft beer.
No!
Yeah, beautifully. They both complement each other very nicely. And then more towards the spirit level, I tend to pair 4-5, which is maestros with the Flor de Caña rum, actually, with Flor de Caña 18-year rum, and that pairs beautifully. Yeah. Actually, this particular cigar, which is the cigar that we introduced in 2014 to celebrate the 2013 to celebrate 45 years of Joya de Nicaragua. It's called 4-5.
4-5, yes.
It uses tobaccos in the filler that have been aged in vintage oak barrels for a year. And those vintage oak barrels were originally used to age first bourbon, Jack Daniels. Then they were used to age rum for 25 years. And then they were discarded, and we used them to age the tobacco. So the cigar doesn't taste like rum. Actually, we try to clean it up as much as we can because it's not intended to be rum flavor or infused, but it does give you a quite a distinct, intense and sweet smoking experience that's quite special. And I think that's one of the reasons why it pairs really, really well with the rum.
Remember the room, Matty? Remember when we were down there?
Now, Juan, you get to tell everybody who first figured out notes that barrel aged the guy who doesn't drink. Remember?
We were down in that room, Juan. Remember when you brought us there with all the barrels when you were aging it down there? That was the fun trip.
That's incredible. That's
what happens when you own a club for that many years.
Yeah, right.
So Matty was getting the barrel notes from that cigar.
Indeed.
So it was a
Juan's just looking at me like, "What'd you say?" I'm like, I think the natural sweetness to it is like there's something else on it. I said, almost like a Belgian. Juan's like, "You don't drink anymore, right?" I'm like, yeah, I need to show you something because it's barrel aged. It's like,
yeah, that was fun.
That's nice. No, tasting that barrel, it's. I mean, you can really get it once you know that barrel flavor. So it was a Flor de Caña barrel and a bourbon barrel both.
It was I can't say the name of the rum company,
but it was a rum company. Okay.
Yeah, it's a rum company, but it was originally used for aging bourbon, and then. So it's a white American oak barrel originally used for aging bourbon. So what you identify is basically the smokiness. Obviously, it's a charcoal, in the inside, and then all of the oakiness flavors in a way are transmitted to the cigar themselves. Although it doesn't taste like rum, it tastes more like the barrel essence of the rum. The same that you have on the rum and the whiskey. It's transmitted to the cigar. So the barrel actually works as a almost like a microcarbon filter in a way to purify the microfermentation process of the leaf and provide you a smoother, while flavorful tobacco.
That's incredible. Well, I think in general, just on pairings, I mean, I think the most important thing for everyone to know, and I think a lot of people do experiment, but just keep experimenting, whether it's sodas or coffee. I mean, I've been doing a lot of cocktails here during COVID. The sweeter flavors in cocktails can bring about some of those sweeter flavors in cigars. So, if you find one that doesn't work, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just keep on laying a few different, like I have behind me here, several whiskeys out. Maybe do 5 or 6 whiskeys. In tastings that we host with whiskey tastings, we have 5 or 6 whiskeys. Try one cigar with just a few sips of 5 or 6 whiskeys or rums, and then find which one works. I think that's the thing, is if you have them side by side, that's what we always say in pairings. You taste the whiskeys side by side, see which you like best. With pairings, with cigars, do the same. Try 5 or 6, go back and forth, and then you'll get the right one. And then you'll find the one that suits you.
I'm gonna follow suit on that advice. One of the things in our industry, especially for cigar smokers, is that there are a lot of myths, a lot of preconceptions, and a lot of rules in cigar smoking, from cutting the cigar, the way you cut the cigar, the way you smoke the cigar, and the way you pair the cigar. The traditional dipping the cigar on whatever drink.
Yeah,
that's absurd. But there are a lot of myths. And one of the things that we do recommend is a lot of people to try. Before, I was one of the ones that would, say that no pairing with beers. I don't like pairing with beers, until I tried a Joya Black with a stout. I discovered a new way of enjoying that cigar through that pairing, and that's ultimately what you're looking for in pairing: the discovery on a way or a new perspective for the enjoyment of that product or both products that you wish. So I'm going back to Mateo, who's, I don't know if he's still connected, but he has been doing a great job in making cocktails, rum-based cocktails for cigar smoking. And he's doing great at that. So I highly encourage people, as you said, Tom, to try different things, ultimately it matters not on what's right or wrong, it's what you enjoy. What you enjoy.
That's right. And Mateo will and I appreciate that one. Mateo will definitely connect. I'd love to get some of his rum cocktails, and we'll feature them on Bourbon Blog and showcase. So maybe the next time we do this, a great cocktail made with the Flor de Caña rum. Question from Chris for Juan. Can Brother Juan explain what's meant by barrel age regarding the Cuatro Cinco? I think you did that.
Yes.
The blend of Cuatro Cinco, especially the name. So we actually just did that. So that was the question he was wanting answered. I think we just answered that for him. Cuatro Cinco limited edition. Maybe we'll try that one another time. But I think Chris had just actually asked that. We're a little bit of a delay here. So thanks, Chris, for asking that. And Mateo, we'll definitely try some cocktails with you soon. Dennis saying Twin Engine coffee is great, very accessible, tasty, especially when pairing a cigar. And question from Twitter. Thanks for watching us. Soil Missy Mode. Question for Juan. Are there any plans on blending with any other Central American country tobacco? I guess, are you?
Yeah, well, although we specialize in working with Nicaraguan tobacco, and some of our blends are Nicaraguan puros, like the Antaño that you're smoking. That means puro in Spanish means pure origin, means that 100% of the leaves come from the same country. We do use tobaccos from basically all over the world. When you come to our factory and to our tobacco bodega, which is basically our warehouses, you'll find tobaccos from, of course, all of the regions from Nicaragua, but you also have tobaccos from Honduras, from Mexico, from Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, Brazil, Dominican Republic, the United States, Indonesia, Cameroon. So that's one of the things that Nicaraguan cigar makers do have, the flexibility of working with tobaccos from many different origins. And in fact, in our blends, you can experience that. Pete is smoking the Joya Silver that uses Nicaraguan fillers with a Mexican binder and an Ecuadorian grown wrapper. And that's a beautiful combination, which is actually the inverse of the Joya Black, which uses a Mexican and Andres Negro wrapper with an Ecuadorian binder and Nicaraguan fillers. So if you get to try those two, you'll get the opportunity to enjoy a different perspective on Nicaraguan tobacco with tobaccos from other origins.
Both such great cigars. I think, Matty, you and I had it on one of our episodes a month and a half ago or so. We did the Hoya Black. I thought it was beautiful and really.
We did.
I could see how that beer would work so nicely with it, or a really robust cocktail. So interesting,
Yep,
what you can do with those pairings. Yeah, and definitely everyone who's, I'm sure most of you all who are watching are fans of Joya de Nicaragua already, but if you're not, definitely check out their website, joyacigars.com. That way you can learn about all of the collection of Joya de Nicaragua. And, just as we look forward, Juan, I mean, hopefully it sounds like the festival in Nicaragua will be on for January. That's a little ways away, but you'll be looking forward to that, and hopefully more events as you get to travel soon, right?
Hopefully, yeah. We're still waiting how these things unfold. Right now, we still have Nicaragua, Central America, grounded until August probably. But in any case, we continue to do this. So I encourage everybody not only to visit the website, but we connect with us through our virtual events. We're holding events like this every week. We're also connecting a lot on social media. If anybody wants, every year we hold the Cigar Safari, which is quite a special and unique opportunity to enjoy cigar making with real estate in Joya, Nicaragua. While we don't have that, we have in our website a 3D tour of the factory. So you can actually see and watch how cigars are made in a 3D virtual tour. And we have a lot of multimedia and videos and pictures on how things are done. But we go a little bit further than that. We are encouraging people to experience cigar smoking in a very complete and rounded way. So if you go to Spotify, you can go look for Joya Cigars, and you can subscribe to our playlists. So we have playlists from our personal preferences to the music at the rolling floor, the music that we actually put on the floor while rolling cigars. So I encourage everybody to visit both our 3D virtual tour of the factory, our Spotify list at Joya Cigars, and of course our social media or my personal account. If you want to reach out, have a conversation about cigars, about Nicaragua, about anything related to what we do and what we love, we're pretty much open.
And it's all right there. I love that you can actually hear the music that they roll to. That's so cool. Another compliment. Love your cigars, Juan Martinez. Keep doing what you're doing. Beautiful masterpieces there from Susanna Dorset watching on Facebook. We really appreciate everybody watching us tonight on all the formats. Again, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and make sure you bookmark every night. We're live on bourbonblog.com/live. Make sure you bookmark that, or just follow us where you're watching us right now. As we look forward, I think, really important question we've been asking everybody, from craft distillers to cigar makers to industry experts. What do you think will come, Juan, and also Matty and Pete, all of you, when it comes to how people will enjoy, how much more they will enjoy cigars, any effects on the industry due to COVID and this period in our world? What do you think the effect will be on
your cigars are your creature comforts? So I think even though we're all going through this, we're going through it all together. It's something for us to share and to enjoy together. So I think it's important that we have things. I think it's important that we have the dialogue and talk about things. And like I said, you find people are probably smoking more cigars now because they're time of day, because everything else around them is not open or not open to capacity. So like I said, it's created a strange rift in the way that people connect with each other, but wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It was a new thing. So again, everybody, depending on where you are and even what region, in the United States, things are going up and down depending where in the U.S. you are. So again, man, nobody really knows what's going on with this book. Uncharted territories, but at very least, we get to do this together. We get to discuss our passion together. A great way to be communicative throughout the community. So I think that's probably the best way to think about it and look at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's great about relatively speaking, that we can't go out, we can't go to the cigar shops, we can't have our festivals, but the media, what we're doing right now is bringing together people from all over the country that we would probably only see a couple times a year. at the major festivals, whether it's the show or Cigar Fest or the Barn Smokers or a numerous amount of other ones. But we get to bring this back into right in their homes, which is pretty cool right now, and it keeps the passion going, it keeps the love going. And what Matty said earlier too, every portion of the country is dealing with the situation differently, and it's good to talk to all our friends, you know, to find out what they're going through. And you know, some people aren't working, some people are working, and I was fortunate that my line of work that we don't take time off. We go 365, 24 a day, and cigars is what brings us all together, brings the culture together, and creates the friendships and the love. And much love to Juan for the past 10, 12 years that we've been kibitzing and having a lot of fun together. So this is a wonderful thing.
Thank you, my brother. I enjoy you too. My much love and respect to you, to all your colleagues too, and to everybody on the front lines. You know, from first responders to doctors and nurses who all over the world have been, you know, taking charge of this and have been protecting all of us. All those essential workers, you know, all of our respect and appreciation. Well, everybody's, you know, safe at home, or taking care of themselves. They are exposing themselves and their families. So it's very important that we recognize the work that you guys and everybody out there has done. So thank you very much for that. But you know, indeed, I follow on Matty's and Peter's comment, and I started with this. I think 2020 has taught us, in a way, to pause, to reflect, to really go deep into what things need to be improved for us as a society, as a community, as individuals, as professionals. Many times, to be fair, in my own line of work, I've been challenged. The question is what I do relevant in the midst of all of this, you know? And I always find a space and opportunity to share with cigar lovers precisely the fact that it is, because it gives the opportunity for people to have a space and opportunity to enjoy themselves and their friendship. This is a community that for many people, if they wouldn't exist, they wouldn't have a lot of other things and a way to connect and to share their own life. So going back to my original comment way in the beginning, I think this new way, first of all, we're going to come out of this stronger, better as individuals, as communities, as families, as an industry, and as cigar makers. We too have been forced to challenge our conceptions or assumptions, as I said, from connecting virtually to people to thinking of the possibility of traveling, until we don't know when, and to the possibility of our business being threatened because of the health conditions of our people back in Esteli. All of that has forced us to rethink and reshape our conception of things. And ultimately, I'm hopeful, seeing these faces, but also seeing thousands and thousands of faces of community members in the cigar world, enjoying, sharing, supporting each other. That has been astounding. Seeing people support their brick and mortar shops, their shops in the neighborhood, or their local tobacconists all over the world has been astounding. Even though they have access to online shops, they continue to support their favorite lounges and their favorite shops. And this has, brought out the best out of many people in many ways. And I think we should appreciate that and hopefully build upon that, the sense of growing the community, be it physical, but be it also virtually. The biggest change for us as an industry, it won't come necessarily for the products or for the way we sell the products. It will come the way we appreciate our consumers, our fans, and our friends all over the world, and the possibility of connecting more with them through this technology, through this medium. And that's, I think, one of the biggest gifts that we can cherish, the ability to be able closer at the distance, closer apart, closer. The farther away you are, the closer that we can feel.
That's awesome.
So that's so important, Juan. You're absolutely right. And Pete and Matty, it's a real pleasure to have you, Juan Martinez, president of Joya Cigars, here tonight with us on Bourbon Blog Live. Thank you for all your years of great work for the industry. Your cigars are incredible. We really appreciate you being here, and so many fans, I think, really have enjoyed this. And if you all caught this, yes, absolutely. We appreciate you guys, all of you. Pete, Matty and I do this every Saturday night, so be watching us every Saturday. And Pete, it's great to have you back here again. It's wonderful to see you. I met Matt and Petey about a year ago, just about now, so it's great to have you both back here.
Friendversary.
That's right. It's our friendversary. So if anybody got watching this, say Matty.
I said nope. You said I'm glad we all got to be connected.
Yeah, me too.
Juan, good to see you as always, my brother. Much love to you and the family.
Yes, much love, guys.
Much love, guys.
Yeah, this will be up permanently on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So be sure if you did get this a little bit late in the game, go back, watch it. And also it'll go up on our podcast. So check that out as well. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. Cheers to you all. And Juan, we'll work to get you some bourbon, Juan.
Thank you, guys.
Yes,
Juan, it's going to be down there. We'll get it there.
Reach out to the Hoya team if you guys have any questions on the blends and what they're doing, and they do a lot of virtual shows like we're doing. So stay tuned and reach out so you can get in touch with them. Anybody has any questions for tastes and everything for Tom, please reach out to him. And you can always find PD and I online. So any questions, we appreciate everyone joining. Much love. We wish you happiness and stay in your family.
You too.
Be safe, be healthy, everybody. We love you.
Blessings.
Guys, thank you. Appreciate it.
Much love.